So in my own art practice, the life drawing classes that I've taken here and in other schools have been a big help with being able to visualize what a three-dimensional person would appear to be on the two-dimensional surface of a page. Could you maybe give us a few tips and tricks for novice artists to be able to make something that is three-dimensional translate to a two-dimensional medium?
Yes, well, one thing is to place yourself in the environment. Look around, see what's happening. You should know your subject. For example, if you're drawing the figure, you should have a good understanding of anatomy and proportion of the figure. If you're doing a landscape, you should understand the space, foreground, middle ground, and background. We spoke about that earlier. It helps to know your subject matter. Different trees have different shapes. Understand what season you're in and what time of the day it is. That was a big thing for Monet. You could look at his paintings and know what day it was, time of the day, and what season it was. Three dimension, you have to make sure that you are looking at things from all four sides, top and bottom, and that's how you approach that.
And you say top and bottom in respect to thinking about your sculptures.
Yes.
But when most people aren't looking at the bottom of a sculpture, why do you think that's so important?
Well, because it's three-dimensional, and even if you're not looking at it, it's important as far as the object itself. And there are some sculptures that will be moved around, and so, you know, the bottoms might be a little more utilitarian because it has to sit and balance on it, but still the shape should be nice, and everything in a really good sculpture, no matter how you look at it, it's going to be a great piece of artwork, you know. So that's I think that's important.
And are there any artists maybe that you can think of? I know you mentioned Monet, that really capture what jumping between dimensions actually is.
Yes, I think Brancusi might do that. He did some nice drawings, and then some great sculptures. Some other artists that I can think of. One big one would be Michelangelo, you know, and also Leonardo. And they did a lot of study drawings, and then they converted them to three-dimension. And but there are most artists will find themselves doing that at some point if you work out all the time, you know.
And since I mentioned taking life drawing classes, would you say that that would be a very good place to start for somebody who wants to be able to draw like something that's right in front of them three-dimensionally on a two-dimensional surface?
Absolutely. I went to the Pennsylvania Academy of the Fine Arts in Philadelphia, and that was their foundation. Figure drawing was part of their curriculum, and we had figure drawing classes every semester, and it is a really good way to learn how to draw in two dimension, and then also I took some classes from a fellow named Evangelos Ferdakis, who was a sculptor, which was right down the street, and he had a studio there where you looked at the figure but you sculpted it. Okay. And so a different way of thinking, you know, but instead of drawing the muscles and the movement in the figure, you were sculpting the muscles, and he would walk around and say, well, what's that muscle? What's that muscle? And you know.
Right, you were more worried about how it looked three-dimensionally than it did on the page.
So again, that's jumping dimensions, and it was a really good experience for me, and I think it's all about experience. So you know, if you can do that. Now that I've done some research on dimensions, I might have to look into some of these other dimensions that these gamers are talking about, and the physicists and the mathematicians, you know. So
right, playing video games myself quite a bit, actually. Dimensions are something that you think about quite a bit. So.
Yes, and you know, that's a great thing. I think that's expanding our minds, and that's going to help with humanity, you know.
Right, exactly. And just being able to think about it is valuable, as well as practice, practice, practice.
Yes.
Thank you for checking out our YouTube channel. If you would like to see more of our content, click here or consider subscribing.